them as well. What's up, guys? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles here. Thanks for joining Monday's YouTube accountability call. I am so excited to have all three people here with me today. I have Margaret, Lori, and Jay from Online Hustlers. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. Real quick before we get into it, this is a weekly accountability call. I do it every single Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard. It is open to anybody who would like to join the video. So just send me a DM and I will send you the link to join. Once it gets full, though, it is full, and so you'll have to wait till the next week. So if you want to join, you're always welcome to join in the comments as well if you don't want to come on the video. But it's just kind of a way for us to check in with each other. Oh, see, now I'm getting feedback. Do you guys hear feedback?
Sorry, that was my phone. I turned it off.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I hear it, but okay, that makes sense. So it's just a way for us to check in. We don't have coworkers or staff meeting, so I kind of have made that this Monday call so we can check in and learn and grow from each other. So thank you guys so much for joining. As we wait, sometimes there's a little lag on the YouTube commenters. So if you're joining us, there it goes. There's Daniela. What's up, Rebecca? As we wait for people to join, why don't we I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. So tell us a little bit about you, maybe kind of how you got into reselling and where you're at in your reselling journey. And I'll start, oh, that's the other way. Oh, wait, I can't do it. I'll start with you, Margaret. Yeah, there you go, Lori. We'll start with you, Margaret, and then just kind of go around to Lori.
Ladies
and
first.
Then, yeah, finish with Jay.
All right, so I'm Margaret. I am a stay-at-home mom. I have a 1-year-old son and a 5-year-old son, and I'm a part-time reseller. I just started saying that really like a month ago because this has been a lot more of a hobby or a side hustle for me since November when I started. Starting in September, I'm going to be homeschooling the 5-year-old doing kindergarten. So I'm going to have to quit my other part-time job. And this is going to be reselling. It's going to be actually like paying my bills. So August is kind of a test month for me to try to be more consistent with some of my habits, listing and stuff like that. And then using Sarah's dashboard and figuring out what works for me so that I can make a good profit for September. I got into reselling because I was pregnant and I was looking for cheap clothes for my son. And I found a thrift store that sold, they had like a certain color that was 50 cents every Tuesday. And I started taking that stuff to Once Upon a Child just to see what would happen. And I was making a little bit of money, but then they didn't take everything. So I needed somewhere to sell the stuff that they didn't take. And I found PoshMark. And
so are you mainly on PoshMark or are you doing other platforms too? I don't remember.
Mostly on PoshMark. I'm also on Mercari. eBay's starting to pick up a little bit. I just got an eBay store like a couple weeks ago, and then I've sold one thing on Citizen.
Oh wow!
Okay, all right. Oh, we lost Jay. Oh, no. Jay's having some connection issues, so he may be coming and going. Lori, why don't we get into you? If you guys don't know Lori, you absolutely must follow her on all the things that she does. She has a wonderful YouTube channel. And then her and Daniela have a Thrifters Villa podcast that has amazing content. So definitely follow her on those. And then I will let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about her.
Well, thank you so much for having me tonight, Sarah. And it's nice to meet Margaret and Jay. It's so exciting to see some new people in the community. I was just looking at my first sale on PoshMark, and it was actually on August 20th of 2018. So I'm approaching my 2-year anniversary on PoshMark. And I started as a part-time reseller in August of 2018. And about a year later in September, so a year and a month, I went full-time. So I am full-time. PoshMark is my main platform. I push myself to try to get things over to eBay because I know that is just a place I need to be. But it's definitely a push for me. I'm very comfortable on PoshMark. And I started my YouTube channel January of 2019. And I've been nurturing that quite a bit. And Daniela and I started our podcast last December, and I can't believe it's been this long. Daniela, can you believe it already? And so I'm just plugging away and looking forward to fall and looking forward to potentially having some time back. I have 3 children. My daughter is entering college. My son is entering his senior year in college. And then my youngest, Rocco, is going to be a junior in high school. So they're all very busy and we are all here right now. But the 2 older ones go to school in 2 weeks. And I'm hoping that that is going to be a transition into some structure back in my life, which I desperately need right now.
Oh, I feel yes. So you're in New England. Are you in Massachusetts? Like
Yeah.
where? Okay, because Danielle's not, right?
West of Boston. I'm in Central Mass.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I couldn't remember because Daniela is close, but not in Mass.
Danielle's in Rhode Island, so
but it's all the same.
I mean, we're all, you can cross 3 state lines in a couple hours around these parts. So
yeah, you guys are close. So what is the schools are they going to school in the area, or they're open
so my
up?
Two older ones are going to be together at Penn State at University Park, and they made the announcement in June that they were going to be in person, and then everything went in 20 different directions. So they're still in person. They can live in the dorms, but Anthony's off campus, but most of the learning is online. And Rocco is going to have a hybrid, so maybe like 2 days on, 2 days off. We haven't heard from our district yet, and the governor just pushed it back 10 or 11 days to let the teachers prep. So he's looking at like a mid-September start.
And you guys are doing, I know, so, I mean, you know this, but for people who aren't watching, my husband's family is from the Boston area. So like I track that state just because I know a lot of people there. Yeah. And you guys are doing pretty good. You just did my husband was looking at traveling there, and you did a huge lockdown on people coming there, but your levels have been pretty good. So hopefully the school situation will be
because we got pretty hammered. We were right on the heels of New York City. I feel like we were really struggling in April, and our numbers. And then, being in the small state, New Hampshire opened, Connecticut opened, Rhode Island opened, but we were still, we were behind everybody. But it's worked out so far. I think with Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket Island, I think the 4th of July we saw like a little bit of spike in the numbers because of the beaches, but not too bad. We're hanging in there. So
well, I'm hopeful for you, and I hope that the hybrid and the kids are in school and you can get some sanity back. I'm not hopeful that's my situation, but I'm hopeful too.
Oh my gosh, but looking at 2 moms who are homeschooling little ones, I feel like you guys have a much harder role right now. So every day I think, oh my gosh, what would I do if these kids were little right now? And I was looking at homeschooling and all that stuff. So I admire what you guys are doing so much. It's so hard.
It is very difficult. Before I come down to you, Jay, I am going to let everyone in the chat feel free to shameless self-promote yourselves as well. Drop your Instagram handles if you have YouTube channels, your closets, if you're running a sale, whatever it is in the comments, feel free to do that while we get to know our panel today. So Jay, welcome. Are we good? Can you hear us? Are you frozen?
Oh, Jay.
I know. I think you might be frozen.
Is it the connection on his phone? Is that what's happening?
I think it looks like he's probably on a phone.
Yeah.
Are you on a phone, Jay? All right. Well, hopefully he'll get back to us. All right. So let's start. And if Jay gets back to us, we'll let him introduce himself. He is Online Hustlers on Instagram. I'll give a little shameless self-promotion if he doesn't get back on. Follow him on Instagram. His content is amazing. He has lots of really good information on there, and he's always very encouraging to the community. He knows his stuff too. Definitely has. I've asked him a couple questions about tennis shoes. I'm like, I don't know, men's tennis shoes. Like, can you tell me what this is? So definitely follow him on Instagram, Online Hustlers on Instagram, and hopefully he'll be able to get back on with us today. So let's start. I'm Sarah from Sarah Styles. Y'all know me because this is my channel, hopefully. But thank you guys so much for joining. In the accountability chat, we kind of just talk about our weekly successes, and then we'll get into our goals for the next week. So I will let you, Margaret, we'll just kind of keep around in a circle. Feel free to bounce off of each other. Actually, no, that's a lie. I wrote down, I have a question for both of you guys. And Jay too, if he pops back on, because I know he's on multiple platforms. But do you guys use something to help? Like, how do you do the multiple platforms? You guys are both on different platforms. Are you using one of the services? Which service? What is working for you? How do you guys manage that?
Do you want to start, Margaret?
Sure. I use Vendoo. I've tried both Vendoo and List Perfectly multiple times, and I really wanted to like List Perfectly more because I feel like a lot of the people that I talk to like it more, but I don't. I like Vendoo more. So
what is, and I mean, not to like diss on one or the other, but like what brought you, because I think a lot of people have this question, like, which one should I go with? So like, what for you made you go with Vendoo?
So for me, it just seems a lot simpler. Like when I was using List Perfectly, it would open up so many different tabs at the top of my screen and it would stress me out. And with Vendoo, everything's just kind of on one screen. Also, I feel like it's cheaper for me. I don't know if it would, like, if somebody else is listing more, it might be cheaper for them the other way, but you just, like, I get to add 125 things a month into my Vendoo like bank, and then they're in there. And then the next month I can add 125 more. And then once they're in there, you do whatever you want with them. So it's not like you have a certain amount that you can cross post. It's a little bit different with the pricing. It doesn't have Citizen, which is tough because I have to do that manually, but I just feel like it's simpler for me.
You can delist on, like, you can take it off of there too, because that's one of the,
You can.
okay. So I have heard, I haven't tried Vendoo, but I have heard that if you're like only doing a lower level amount, that Vendoo can be cheaper, because you can do Vendoo like a la carte almost, right? Where PoshMark, there's only like 3 different, or not PoshMark, List Perfectly, there's only 3 different tiers. But if you're getting the same services on Vendoo that you get on List Perfectly, then List Perfectly is cheaper, if that makes sense. That's what I've heard. I've only used List Perfectly.
Yeah, I use Vendoo as well. And to be totally honest, I've been part of like a study group for them since way back when. So I have been getting the service, for free while we have like homework assignments. And as they launch new strands, we have to try them out. Like when they added new categories, I had to be a part of that. So I've actually never tried List Perfectly, but I have heard great things about it. And I absolutely love Vendoo. I can't imagine cross-posting without it. I feel like they have little glitches here and there. Like I went to cross-post the other night, and I actually put everything on Poshmark first and then move over to eBay, which everyone says I should do the opposite. But I am just stuck in my ways. It works for me.
But I do too.
I just like, Poshmark is my main platform. So that's where it all goes first. And then I just move things over. I have it down pretty quick now. So yeah, I just transfer things over. I haven't cross-posted anything to Mercari. So I'm kind of like a bare bones, and I'm not sure. I know that they offer things a la carte if you want to add multiple platforms, but I'm actually not sure of the structure because I've just been in my little bubble for a while. But I really do love Vendoo, and the team is great. And I think they are also resellers, and the guys, like, we do video chats to get caught up, and they really want to know what people are asking for, the pros and the cons, and what's working. So it's been a nice relationship, and it's been nice to see their company grow.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm a List Perfectly person. And I use it. I go back and forth between using a cross list platform like that, a cross listing. And then I have a person who lists for me. Currently, I'm doing more of the person listing and cross listing because of time commitments with 3 kids at home during a pandemic. And now we're going to be homeschooling. So there's no way that I could get listings done if I didn't have someone. I take pictures and she does it. But I go back and forth between using List Perfectly too. And I really love, Claire is one of the owners, and I've talked with her a lot. The reason that I went with List Perfectly is they have a CSV file that you can export, which means you can look at your data and don't let me. Like, that's a selling point for me. And so we've kind of talked about, from a data perspective, I've worked with them on what would be good to have in those files and stuff. But anyway, I was talking with her today, and they're just so kind. And I don't know Vendoo, so I'm not speaking like against Vendoo, but from List Perfectly, they're just so kind and really want to encourage these sellers. And they're doing like these on their Instagram. They're doing a lot of like seller superstar. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, and like pushing sellers. And I was talking with her today, and she's like, that's kind of our goal right now, is to help resellers however we can during the pandemic, because it's very stressful, right? And we're all just trying to like figure out how to make this work during a world pandemic. So I really like that about them, more than just their software, but the company as well. I'm going to give a shout out to Daniela. She is having a sale, 50% off on all of her bundle purchases. So head on over to her closet. That is also her Instagram handle, I think, too, which would have her link in it. Daniela's List Perfectly. I use Vendu. I think it's probably pretty split in the community.
I think what's nice about both platforms, though, they are both young companies, and I think the customer service is great. And I think they're both pushing each other because, there were things that I think one of my friends chose List Perfectly because you could do bulk editing, I believe, or bulk listing. I can't remember what it was, but it was something that Vendu didn't offer. And then I brought that back to my guy. And so they're, I think they're pushing each other, and they're both great options.
Yeah, for sure. And if you are listing on multiple platforms, I think I can't force you to, but I think it's a must. It's such a time saver and your fingers, like doing all of the screenshotting and stuff, you're going to give yourself arthritis. Yeah. Well, and all the follows and stuff too. Okay. So let's get into the week. Hopefully Jay joins us. If not, I'll have to have him back on. So let's get into the week. How was your week? What were your guys' successes for the week?
I can start. Last week was a big family week for me. Ange graduated from college and Rocco turned 16 and we had 2 graduation parties. So last week was literally just like finished this week. And I do YouTube videos on Wednesdays and Sundays. And I just wrapped up a series called From the Store to Your Door, where I did like a 5-part video series about like chronicling like literally every step from the time I'm shopping to the time I ship something out the door. And it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. So that was kind of going on, and then regular sales and listing and stuff like that. So last week was more of a big personal week for me, but I was just happy to get through it and then to kind of still maintain my business. And last week was one of the weeks I felt very grateful that I do what I do and I have the flexibility with my job to have all that going on in the background and still be able to make some money.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at too I'm trying not to get discouraged. I have to have like daily talks with myself that like you're staying at home so that you can be with the kids. It's a world pandemic. Like if you have to put this aside, this is why you do it. Because it's frustrating, because I was in the perspective of all 3 kids were going to be in school and I would get time to work. And now it's like, oh, all 3 kids are at home and I'm schooling them. So slightly
Is that
different.
Indefinite, Sarah? Have they like said until a certain date or?
Yeah, so they're doing remote learning for the first 2 weeks. The high school, so I have a 14-year-old who will start high school this year. That's a hybrid. But he's autistic, ADHD, learning disabilities on an IEP, so he needs a lot of support. He cannot, like he remote learned in the fall or in the spring. It was chaos. So he really is an in-person type, but I don't know. There's a lot of talk of the districts and the teachers unions right now not being happy if they go into school. So I don't know that even, I don't know. They've said the first 2 weeks are remote learning. So yeah, we'll see. I do want to ask you, this isn't, well, it's reseller related because it's about reselling, but your YouTube videos, you do 2 a week. Mm-hmm. Are you shooting them like and Margaret you didn't do this. I'm going to shameless self-promote you. Margaret has a YouTube channel that she's starting as well. So definitely follow her, but how do you film it ahead? Do you do your content like every Wednesday you film a video and then
it really
like, how do you manage?
To be quite honest, I am usually like typing furiously right up until the minute, like doing last minute edits and stuff. I was proud of myself this week because my video that went live on Sunday, which was a haul. Hauls are easy for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, just not, they like compared to the store to your door, which we required planning, and it was just a lot more. A haul is like kind of a breath of fresh air for me and just easy to do. But I am usually like, I have a sponsored video coming out on Wednesday that I haven't even started. It's a total commitment to the brand, and that is what I'm going to be doing all day tomorrow. So I am not the best planner. And that's why I specifically gave myself 2 days a week to put it out there, because otherwise my natural flow is to not be as structured. So even if it's down to the wire for me, knowing that by like 6-7 p.m. the latest on Wednesday and Sunday, I need to get something out. It just like the rest of my week kind of takes form because of that. But no, I'm right down to the wire on most of my videos.
Well, and that's my natural personality. So I have to like overcompensate. Everyone on social media is like, Sarah, you're so organized. And I'm like, if y'all knew me in real life, like, I have to overcompensate for it, because if I didn't, like, nothing would ever. My virtual assistant knows what a hot mess I am because she's seen like the true self. And then my husband for sure is like, yeah, you're not that organized. But that's why I do the lives twice a week, because I'm like, I've committed to, like, I have to be here, right? Yeah. I don't have to edit, because then and that's another thing, is I hate editing. I like your door to the store.
Time consuming. I'm sorry. I said I actually like editing, but it's super time consuming. And, you know, I will film in an hour or 2 hours, and I will edit for 4 hours, like not at my computer, but like I'll keep going back. And I'll watch one video probably 3 or 4 times before it actually goes live. With all that,
but I'm like watching myself enough to do that. I don't edit anything.
I think it makes
a while.
It makes for a good video, but it's very time consuming. And I think this is interesting for people. If you're watching YouTubers, keep this in mind. If you like YouTubers, support them. You can give super chats. You can, I mean, I don't know all of the other things. Even just watching all of their commercials helps.
A playlist is always helpful, because that just kind of rolls, you know.
Yeah, play a playlist in the background, because it is very, very time consuming. And a lot, I mean, if you edit your videos, what you're watching, the content that you're watching, you know, let's say you watch an hour video of someone, it probably took them 2 to 5 hours beginning to end for that video, would you say? Depending on the content of it. Hauls for sure are like, look at this, like those are definitely a breath of fresh air. But even then, depending on your hauls, you have to like do research, and because a lot of like you want to say the comps, right?
I find like that adds more value. So sometimes I'll like run comps, like I'll take a screen recording of comps from PoshMark, and that will like, I'll split the screen. So as I'm holding something up, somebody sees that, and then like the music and the voiceovers for the thrift with me. And like, I just try to make it a little more robust. That's just me. I mean, there are people with, 100 times my following that are just, they don't edit, and they're straight up. And I think people appreciate that too, unedited things. So it really just depends on what you're comfortable with.
I like the edit. I like watching other people's editings. I don't have 4 hours. Edit.
It's just
I've actually paid. Yeah, that's how I am too. And I don't mind. It's kind of fun. I didn't know how to do it before. And so like teaching myself to do it. Now I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like I can now like split a screenshot and like make it come in with music. But mine is for sure the time commitment.
So Margaret, up until like 3 months ago, I didn't know how to do an end card, like the screen at the end, and I didn't know.
I have no idea.
I had a YouTube channel for like a year and 3 months. I mean, I've learned everything the hard way.
Yeah, I think, but that's kind of how I am too. I just jump into it. My husband's very much like spend a year researching everything, and then when you do your first video, it'll be like perfect. And I'm like, no, like go back and watch my first videos. They're still terrible. And every time I do something, I probably learn something new. I'm more of a like nitty gritty, get it in there and do it. Margaret, if you have anything to add, there's people asking for your guys' channels in the chat. So I'm going to pull up your channels really quick and leave the
mine's actually Lori Tata, LORITATA. Everything else because I started that before I was Lori's Boston Found. So on Instagram, I'm at Lori's Boston Found, and Poshmark, Lori Boston Found, no S, because you can only have 15 characters. And yeah, so on YouTube, I'm Lori Tata.
Okay, there's your, but it comes up
Avenue.
Yours comes up as Lori Boston Found. Oh, Lori Tata Boston Found.
Lori Tata Boston Found. Oh, interesting.
That's your link.
Okay, great.
There you go.
Maybe I
well, it comes up somehow.
I don't know.
If you do like keywords and stuff for it, because whenever I look you up, I look up Lori Boston Found.
Okay, perfect.
And so maybe your keywords come up too. So great. People you can find. Remind me, yours is
It's just Dresden Avenue.
Okay.
On Instagram, it's Dresden Ave, AVE, because somebody else has Dresden Avenue. But
I need to follow you right now, Margaret.
I haven't. I have failed to make people moderators for my YouTube live, so I'm the only person right now that can, unless my husband's on, but he's probably with the kids. I'm the only person that can put links in there, and not because I don't want other people to be moderators. I just haven't ever done it. So that is it. Margaret, do you have anything to add for the YouTube channel? You just started one. I think you're probably a good person to like, how did you get into it? Jump into any tips as you're getting started.
Yeah, I don't know much. I literally like just started. I have a couple of videos and I only made them because I was talking to Leslie, a reseller's passionate about it. And I was like, I kind of want to start a YouTube channel, but I don't know what I'm doing and it's not going to be good. And she was like, just do it. Don't worry about it being perfect. So that's why like I haven't edited anything yet because I know once I get into that, I'm going to try to make it perfect and I don't have time for that right now. So I'm just throwing up whatever and hoping that people can get something out of it. But I did it kind of to chronicle my reselling journey a little bit for myself, also just meeting new people because I'm a stay-at-home mom and I don't know a lot of people. So this community has been really great to get to know people. And I used to be a teacher also, so I do kind of enjoy that aspect of it. And once I get more comfortable, I think I'll be doing more like tips and tricks and stuff like that.
What did you teach?
I taught English as a second language at Kent State University.
Oh, so because I was thinking if it would be helpful to teach your 5-year-olds, but that's a slightly different audience.
I also taught English to kids and adults in Germany, but I haven't taught kids here. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. So everyone in the chat, let us know I'll get to you in a second, Margaret. Let us know what your successes for the weeks were. And I think I'm kind of in Lori's mind frame for the past couple of weeks and probably for the future couple of weeks, months of like just surviving the week. Like, did I make sales? I'm not trying to, which is hard. And I'll get into my successes in a minute. But let us know what you guys are up to in the chat, what your successes were for the week. If you were here last week and you set a goal, did you hit it? How is everything going for you guys? So Margaret, what were your successes for the week?
So last week I was actually really consistent with my goals. I'm in the listing challenge group, Sarah's listing challenge group on Instagram. And I set my goals really low because I don't have a lot of time and I have these kids at home and my husband's working like crazy hours. So I just wanted to get like, I think I said 3 new listings and 3 relistings every day. And I managed to do that. So that was great for me. And I think it was Thursday, I actually woke up to like a full price $100 sale on PoshMark. So that was really nice.
Those are the best.
Oh, I love making money when I sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially the full price people, which means that your SEOs are really good and your pictures are good because they're coming up on Google.
Well, it was stock photos, but
okay, well, either way. But your SEOs, whatever they typed in came up with your.
And I think it was like a Google user too, just with a bunch of numbers or whatever.
So that's usually those full price sales is someone who's searching.
Sold for $100.
It was an Anthropologie dress. It was a Maeve dress and it was plus size. I think it was like 2X. So it was like a cute striped summer dress. And I got that like at the beginning of quarantine. I started doing a little online retail arbitrage and I paid up for it. For me, I think I paid like $15, which is more than I spend on things. So I was nervous about it, but I'm glad it sold.
For $100.
Yeah, that's excellent. Hi, Amber.
Hey, Amber. One of your top brands is Anthropologie too, Lori, right? I cannot move it for the life of me. Tell me all of your tricks. I don't know if, and I think I'm thinking mine is, I don't use stock photos. And I think that might be part of it because my photos compared to most people who sell Anthropologie use stock photos. And so if you see a stock photo and then you see like my, home version photo on a wall, I'm thinking that's what it is. But if you guys have tips and tricks for other people out there, Anthropologie can be a really good seller for people.
Yeah, I know. I have been really feeling a moral dilemma lately with stock photos. I talked about it in my series. Yeah. I just said, like, basically, I always have that one photo that should stock photos go away tomorrow, what would my business look like? Would I be able to move forward? What do my pictures look like who am I without stock photos? You know what I mean? And I mix it up. I mean, I feel like I did a B&G trading unboxing, and I feel like I've been picking up a lot of newer items lately. So I feel like I have more access to stock photos. So probably about 50% stock photos, but yeah, it is an advantage, I think, to have the stock photos. I mean, there are those who model themselves, but I can't.
I sell like pretty much exclusively Anthropologie and Free People right now. Like that's really mostly what I sell. And I've been like, I throw it up without the stock photo. I have a mannequin, so I'll put it without the stock photo, and then I relist a lot. So every time I relist, I kind of switch back and forth, stock photo, no stock photo, just to see if it really makes a difference. And I haven't been doing it long enough to know for sure, but I mean, I did sell, like, I had a Maeve sweater that sold a couple weeks ago. I think I had it listed for 50 and somebody sent me an offer for 40, and I didn't use the stock photo for that one. It was just on my mannequin. So that was a nice surprise.
Interesting.
Well, so people are searching something specific and Anthropologie, and there are 50 listings and 40 people have the stock photo. Sometimes it's not necessary to have it if so many other people have it too. And sometimes if you don't use the stock photo, I think it makes you stand out more. And that was one of my point. Like, I feel like if you, like, Sarah, for you, I feel like you have such a brand with your white background and you're always like cute and you always like, you know what I mean? But like, I know as soon as like, you could be blacked out and I know that it's you because that is your brand. And
my daughter does my stance now. She's like, Mom, I'm going to sell some. And she does the exact same stance. She's like, it's their style.
Yeah. But I feel like, you know, if you are 100% stock photos, this is just like my little soapbox, as I use like a lot of stock photos. So I'm a hypocrite by saying this, but I do feel like it doesn't necessarily, you don't stand out at all if you're just all stock photos.
Yeah. But how much do people really want that? Like, I mean, I think like little boutiques and maybe like on Etsy or something, but on Poshmark, they want to know that it's going to look cute. And it looks way cuter on like the model that Anthropologie is paying than it does on me.
Usually. You want to build your own brand, less about who's buying it, but more about your own brand. Yeah. Yeah. I think people want to see what it looks like for sure.
Yes. Right. Which is why I started modeling it. But now I'm kind of moving away from modeling because it's time consuming. And I'm trying to find that balance of like, you know, what is worth the time and stuff. But I cannot sell it. Yolanda is saying, and this is how most resellers are, thanks to your dashboard, Sarah, I learned Anthro is my top selling brand. I had no idea. Wow. But what's interesting, and shameless self-promotion, y'all are watching my channel, you're going to hear about the dashboard and data, but looking at your data tells you what your brands are. Because if you were just like, for me, if I was just looking at what our other resellers saying that I should be buying, it's Anthropologie and Free People, I cannot move it. And Lovely Lotus too, she's on my side, she cannot move Free People or Anthro either. And so, and she has a dashboard too, so she wasn't looking at her data to know what was selling for her. Like, I would keep picking up things that were sitting without really knowing. So that's my little ploy. And Coach too, a lot of resellers are like, don't buy Coach, it doesn't sell. It's like my top selling brand. So for some reason, I know how to pick Coach and how to sell it. I have no idea.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sorry, someone is asking. Duncan is asking for me to repeat the last points. You can watch the next recording, Duncan. Get it together. All right. Oh, I did have a question because I'm looking into possibly doing a pallet maybe, and you mentioned B&G. Are you doing, you've just done some of their smaller boxes, or have you done some of their bigger?
Yeah, they sent me like a ambassador sampler box, which was just 10 pieces. And then I won a drawing I won El Ducho's giveaway on her channel, which was a 25 piece premiere box. And so I got those within a week and did 2 unboxings, you know, within 10 days. And, but I haven't gone the full palette from them yet.
So you're still doing thrifting. Like, that's your source.
I just love thrifting. I do.
Yeah, nothing against it. I'm just, you mentioned B&G. So I was just asking to make sure.
I've been actually contemplating it. I just said to my husband, like, what do you think? Should I do a palette? Should I try it? And he's like, wait till the kids go to college. And then we'll have like just a little bit, it'll be a little bit more low key around here. He's like, I'm not opposed to it. And if I see a surge in COVID cases, I'm probably going to do a pallet. And I think it's great going into quarter 4 to have a bunch of new with tag items.
Yeah, that's kind of
with thrifting, but you know, we'll see. I'm going to see how many brands do that I got for free and move forward, and then see how they sell, and then take it from there.
That's kind of everything you said is kind of what I've been thinking with the palette, and also I'm going to have 3 kids at home. I am in the mindset of they're going to be remote learning. And then if they do go back to school, then it's like, hallelujah, instead of like, they're going back to school and then I'm like sad and depressed when they're home. So I am just in the mindset, they may go back to school, but I'm in the mindset of that's what our fall is going to look like. And that's kind of why I've been contemplating a pallet, because then I don't have to spend time sourcing. It'll just be in my garage. And when I have time, I can go out there. I hadn't thought about the new tags in the Q4, which is good because a lot of people are like, oh, Q4 is amazing. But I think, and tell me what you've noticed, Lori, you were on Q4 in the last year, Margaret, so you can speak a little to it. But selling used clothing in Q4, I haven't really noticed that it's like anything fantastic.
I actually feel like my January is usually better than December. I feel like December gets a little quiet for me. Yeah. I think just because maybe quiet's not the right word, but it's not like, I feel like September, October leading up, and then January, because I feel like after Christmas, people are like, okay, it's back to me now. And then they're buying secondhand or doing whatever. And I don't sell hard goods. Like, I feel like if I sold more of like my American Girl stuff during the holiday season, that would be very smart of me to do. Whether or not I'll do that, I don't know. But, I don't know. I find January is a better month for me.
Yeah, that's how I am too. But it's interesting that you pointed out, because I've been contemplating that internal struggle with myself on a pallet, and I hadn't thought about the new attacks going into Q4. But then you also pointed out stock photos for a lot of that stuff. And I was creeping on Denali's page today. Well, she knows I shared some of her stuff, but she's been doing pallets. So I've been kind of looking at her closet to see how that's going for her. And most of the stuff for stock photos, because it is easy to find, right? Because you have the tag and everything. So is that going to be a downside for me because I don't use stock photos if I'm doing, I don't know, all things that I'm thinking internally about buying a pallet. So if you guys have anything, those watching as well too, if you have anything to add for pros and cons of a pallet, that's kind of where I'm.
I don't know where I would want to buy the pallet from. You know, if I'm investing like $2,500 or something like that, I don't even know if I would go with B&G. And, you know, it's just not a question you ask people. You don't ask people where they get their pallets. So,
well, people don't tell you where they get their pallets.
Well, right. So, I mean, unless someone wants to offer it up to me, I would never ask someone. So I'm worried about a bust, you know, too. I feel like B&G would be relatively, you know, predictable what would come in there, but I have no idea. I feel like I would want to branch off from B&G and do something a little more risky.
Yeah. Well, so I can tell you, I'm not a pro. I have not bought a pallet yet. Sorry, Margaret.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, lots to learn. So I haven't bought a pallet yet. I've bought inventory off of 2 people who have bought a pallet so that I can like sample how it is. So I didn't have to make the full investment. One of them was from Macy's liquidation, and she's not reselling anymore. So she was just trying to offload some inventory, but she did Macy's liquidation for like years and years and years. So I've kind of looked on Macy's liquidation, and the nice thing about that is it's not a third party. So it tends to, at least from the research that I'm doing, it tends to be a little bit lower in price because you're buying directly from them instead of a third party sourcing it and then selling it to you, right? The B&G looked a little bit pricier compared to what, but B&G is mainly what you're seeing people doing on YouTube. So I feel like you said, it's less risky. You're getting the idea of what you would get. Like those are the most unboxings that I've seen.
Yeah, they're definitely out there. There's a lot of B&G. I'm laughing at Amber.
I just love that too.
I love that.
It's kind of funny because my husband's like, my husband's like the perfect reseller husband. Cause I'm like, I feel like I've bought too much. And he's like, Sarah, you're a reseller. You have to have inventory, go shopping. I'm like, what? I hear most husbands are like, you have to hide it from them. And he's like, no, go shopping. You can't sell things if you don't have them. So he's all for a pallet.
I would love to split a pallet with someone. I would love like somebody local who would, you know, maybe we take turns from the pile, like on Easter, Halloween candy.
Yeah. Well, and that's why if I buy a pallet, I have a friend in our closets are very similar, that we've talked about splitting a pallet just so you're not fully invested. But then I'm like, well, then if it's really good, then I have to share half of it too, right? All right. So we got to your successes for the week, Margaret. Now I forgot. We got on this pallet tangent. We did.
Consistent listing.
Yes, that's right. That's true. Oh, and you did point out I am doing, it started as a listing challenge for myself to remember to relist on Poshmark, especially with a copy feature. It's so easy, but I never want to. Once it's listed, I like just forget about it and I don't ever want to deal with it again. I used to be really good. So I started a listing challenge on Instagram for that. And now it's kind of turned into this just accountability. Let's say our goals. And it's like a chat on Instagram. So if you're interested in that, send me a DM. And it's, I don't know, how many people would you say, Margaret? Like 15 people right now. So it's pretty small. And we just kind of chat to kind of stay accountable with each other. And you can, it started with listing. It doesn't have to stay listing if that's not your goal for the week. I don't know where I was going with that. That's it. Maybe that's all I was going to say.
I have a data question for you, Sarah.
You have a what?
Data question.
Okay.
I feel like as I'm relisting more on Poshmark, it's throwing me off because I'm like, oh, I'm at this many listings, or I've had this many sales. Like everything up until this point has been whatever. I have like total, like say 3,200 listings and 1,150 live listings. But now as I'm canceling listings and relisting things, I feel like it's inflating my number. I mean, it's more like of my own pet peeve. But you know, if I delete 40 listings and then relist 40, it doesn't take those 40 away. It just adds 40. I feel like it's inflating my overall total number.
On Poshmark for like your active listing
Just
number?
for my own stats and stuff. I feel like I'm having a harder time distinguishing like, well, when I now say just in and I see all this old inventory popping up that I've now relisted and it's being counted as new inventory, but I know that it's old. It's just like, it's messing with my head a little bit because it's a new thing for me.
Yes. No, and that makes sense. And that's, if you use the dashboard, the days on hand is calculated from the listing date. And so if you relist it, then your days on hand will be skewed.
Right.
Because it'll be
like throwing everything off.
Yeah. And then mentally too. Yeah, I'm with you too. Cause I'm like, this isn't just in. Like, I've had this for freaking ever. Will someone just buy it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was looking at my days on hand in the dashboard and I was like, wow, I sell everything within like 6-7 days. And then I was like, oh, because I relisted it and then it sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned and that, so from a dashboard perspective, so I have 3 dashboards, 2 of them are Poshmark. And so if you relist on Poshmark, Poshmark gives it a new date. In the sales and trends dashboard, which is for all platforms, you manage your own data. So you put the listing date in there. And so that doesn't change unless you change it. And so that's kind of what I've been looking at now, because then it's the date that I actually did list it. No matter how many times I relist it or sell similar on eBay, it's giving me a better picture, because I do feel I used to relist a lot. And so, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm killing it. Everything's selling. And I'm like, well, no, like this has been relisted 5 times since I actually purchased it.
It's just like, I guess it's just good to be aware of it. Like for me, like it's just shifted my mindset a little bit as I look at the numbers now.
That is, but you brought up a valid point, and I'm contemplating this too. So I'm going to ask you guys on sale inventory. What do you do? Do you just keep everything until it sells, or do you get to a point where you're like, I'm going to redonate this, I'm going to send it to thredup, I'm going to like, what's your process with that?
You go.
Or is there a process?
I've been chatty.
I have so many bags that are at thredup right now that are going to be processed in January. I started sending stuff in April, and those are now, I think the first one's supposed to be processed December 1st. I have
2020.
Yeah, like months backed up.
Yeah. I have a box in the kitchen. I just did my first like expedited label, and I put in stuff that I actually care about that I kind of sourced for thredup. So that's something that I'm going to start trying. But the other things were just like things that I was sick of. If I don't like sharing it anymore, like if I don't like seeing it in my Poshmark closet, I get rid of it. And I was just sending everything to thredup.
Are you going to keep doing that because they're so bad? I mean, because now it's for sure not going to sell because it's not even listed.
Yeah, I can't even print labels anymore. So, I mean, I sell a lot to like buy, sell, trade, close mentor and stuff like that. So I'll probably try that with some of them. And then I might just like throw it up on Mercari for $10 with free shipping and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because here's the thing. And I was telling my husband this, thredup is all, and I'm having Kringle. I don't know how to say her actual name because I only know her. Is it Kringle?
Kringle.
Yeah. Okay. I only know her. Instagram name?
Rochelle.
Chriselle, thank you. I was going to ask her. I'm having her on, and so we're going to talk about thredup. But it is all the rage on Instagram right now. I feel, at least in the people that I follow, I feel like everyone is talking about it. I'm like, there's got to be a downside, like, right? And so I'm glad that you brought up the processing time, because I was going to go through some old inventory, but if it's not getting processed till December, like, I don't know that I want to do that.
You can't even get a label even if it's expedited right now, correct? Or can you get an
Some people can. It's like they're different accounts are different. Like they're slowly phasing it out. And I think I saw Chriselle post that, or somebody posted it too. They're like, she was like, can you delete some of my old labels that I haven't sent in yet so that I can print more, I can get more? And they were like, we'll delete them, but just so you know, you might not be able to print more because we're slowly phasing that out with different accounts. Like they're so backed up that a lot of people can't even send anything in.
Yeah, Rebecca, I was actually talking to her on Instagram today about it. Most people can't get labels right now.
I tried last week and couldn't get one, even expedited.
Well, and I don't even have an account, so I probably can't. Like Chriselle probably can get all the labels she wants because she sells $1 million with them, and they'll probably, but for me, they're probably like, no. So I'm glad that I brought that up. Thanks for letting me know.
Don't relist. I mean, I have no problem with keeping things in my closet. I know I don't know. I have things that are there for 2 years and then they sell for full price. I'm kind of a move forward mentality. And I guess I have the space for it. I think if I was in closer quarters, I would be more on top of it, but it doesn't bother me too much to leave things.
I think that's how I'll be once I like the stuff, because I just started 6 months ago. So I have like stuff that I would never pick up now that I picked up when I first started, and I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah, there are always those pieces that if I got rid of, I would never miss them.
I'm glad that you brought that up too, that things will eventually sell. I just don't want to be a hoarder. And I feel like once I get so much inventory, I'm just hoarding. Am I actually a reseller if I'm just holding something for 2 years? But if it does eventually
listed,
sell,
you're not a hoarder. If it's unlisted, that's more hoarding. But like if it's live in your inventory and it's on eBay, Mercari, and PoshMark, or some combo of that, I don't know.
All right. You talked me into it. That's what my husband was saying too. Yeah, I feel like I just don't want to like have a ton of stuff. Lovely Lotus is saying, I've seen mixed reviews with B&G. Back to that conversation real quick. I'm going through the comments. I would be scared spending that much, not knowing for sure what I'd get. That is the thing. Macy's I've learned these words. Manifested means that they will tell you everything that they have. Unmanifested is like a huge surprise box. So that's,
I don't know if you guys saw, Denali got that one box that was like used underwear, like
oh my god, I would freaking die.
And it's not, B&G explicitly says like as is, you cannot return, you get what you get.
I don't think that was B&G.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not a huge mystery box person. Like, so I think because I love to source and I like to have a hand in it. I don't get super excited about stuff. I get super excited if it's a piece that I love, but I don't know. I would still rather source myself, but
yeah.
Well, to do.
Yeah. I mean, I would prefer that. I'm just trying to think of things to do since I'm not going to have that much time. Rebecca from Florida is saying a lot of my B&G sat forever. I'm not a huge influencer, so I think that might get better stuff because they did live unboxings. I've heard that. I'm not a big influencer too, but I have heard that they say the bigger influencers get better stuff. Rebecca the Reseller, she has a great YouTube channel too. I don't think she just hops on really quick. She has a little kid for bed, but 1 year, then it's gone. $5 sale, thredup, style on for local garage sale. Be ruthless.
Rebecca, I listened to you on Denali's Flip the Script. It was great.
And I've been watching the homeschool channel. I'm getting excited about that. So she just started a new homeschool channel for her son, and I'm following right along.
Smart.
Was that her big announcement? I saw that she had a big announcement and I hadn't watched the video yet. Yeah. She put pregnant on there and I was like, oh, I wonder what it is. But all right. Let me see. Just making sure. I want to check in with everyone. We were back. Okay. No labels. I will relist, and if it still isn't selling, I will send to eBay auction to where I will at least make my money back. I was considering doing eBay auction to get some sales. Oh, see, now Alex is saying that she printed 3 this weekend. But I wonder how much of a seller are you? She sells amazing stuff. That's probably it too. She knows her luxury. That's why they're letting you print labels.
Yeah, last week I could still have them send them to me, but I couldn't print them. And then I think 2 days ago I looked and they were like, nope, no more.
Huh.
Well, on this note, I am having her on either next week or the following week. She'll be on my channel and we'll get the scoop from her. So make sure to follow me and get the notifications for that.
I'm just the course actually costs. I see that so many people are offering $40 off, which leads me to believe it's relatively expensive.
Yeah, I think it's 147 right now. Right? Is that right?
I paid like 100, and I think I had a code. So
yeah.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, I was gonna say everyone that I've talked to has said it's, and I'm all for paying up for stuff. I'm like halfway through the course. I have it. Yeah. And I have it and I've slowly started, but you have to listen without kids and like who has time for that? Sorry, I'm catching up. Reseller, do you have more than 10 outstanding right now? I know you just sent a bunch in recently. Oh, she's talking to Rebecca. Let's see. They're having their whole conversation. We'll let that happen. Oh, Alex is saying that she sends in her old inventory. Interesting. But she has fancy stuff. Like she knows her shit. All right, we're good. Oh, what's up, Leslie? Thanks for joining. All right. I checked in with the chat. I try and be good about engaging with everybody. Let's get to our goals for the week. Let me tell you my successes. I don't know if I had successes for the week. I'm in Lori's mindset of I'm just trying to make it through. The kids are home. They're not learning right now, but it's 3 kids at home and we can't really go places. So, I mean, parks are open and some places are open, but I'm like taking them to many places. Because, 2 and 5-year-olds like still lick each other and like don't cover their nose when they're sneezing. So I won't go to parks and stuff. But I'm trying to scale back a little bit and just keep the momentum going as much as I can and change my mindset. Because I'm very much go, go, go. And I have like 17 billion ideas. And so I'm trying to just not have, I still have ideas, but like not act on the ideas.
Not have ideas.
Yeah. I'm writing them all down, but it's hard for me because I'm like, I have all these ideas, but I don't have the time to do them. So I'm just having like mental and then trying to deal with because right now we get to choose after the 2 weeks, if we want to send them to school or keep them home. And that's like an internal struggle. Like, do you pick their mental health or their physical? Like, I don't know. It's just a hot mess in my brain right now. So I'm just trying to keep business as usual. I did, and I'll talk with Chris from Daily Refinement on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. about how my July went. It was, spoiler alert, it was a good month. I think it was my best grossing month that I've ever had. So we'll get into it a little bit more for that. So I guess that was a good thing. I've kind of changed. I've been sourcing a couple different places and trying some new things. So I guess that was good. But so let's get into our goals. What are your guys' goals for the week?
I need
to get back to
that on there.
Yes, I just said thank you. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
You can go, Lori.
I just need to, I've been doing a lot of sourcing, so I need to buckle down and I need to list and share and just kind of I need to have like a back to basics week. And I'm excited. I'm here for it. I'm excited to not have parties. I'm excited to not have to shop for anything, to bake for anything, to just like kind of get in my zone. My planner comes this week. I'm geared up to like just write everything down, start planning my content for YouTube. Like I'm in that zone right now. I'm very excited for that. Like I feel like I'm nesting a little bit.
I know. I saw your post on Instagram today about like August being like your planning month and like getting goals and stuff today. So how do you, dig a little bit into like, what do you plan to do? And do you have like daily tasks that you like to do to get
so I'm working out of 2 planners right now. For the first time I'm using it. I use the Passion Planner, which I'm absolutely passionate about. I just applied to be an ambassador for them. They just opened the program. They're only accepting 500 people. So I have no idea. I think they're like planning channels that will probably get the ambassador status, but I just love this company. But they came out with a daily planner, which is more like a to-do list format. It's undated. And my planner this year, I got undated because I feel like I'm living week to week right now.
Mhm.
I wasn't even sure if the kids were going to go to Pennsylvania. So like I couldn't even write like, well, when is Angie moving in? We found out 2 days ago that she's moving in on the 17th. You know what I mean? So I feel like things are just starting to come together for us right now. So, I like to start planning my YouTube videos and just like at least have 2 a week. I might insert like a Friday vlog or something, because I feel like the YouTube juices are flowing more than the reselling right now. So I don't know. I just like to just get things down on paper and start. I'm a visual person, so I enjoy kind of the charting, and I don't know, it inspires me and it keeps me on task.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good luck. I'm excited to see what you come out, and I'm going to plug her channel again. Lori has great content. If you've just joined or you're watching in the comments, it is in the chat, which I try and make it live. I don't always succeed at that because I'm still learning YouTube too. But both of you guys can come back and leave any of your links in the comments. It usually takes about an hour for this to process, and then the recording will be up, but feel free to come in and leave any of your guys' links as well, so people can go directly to all of your stuff. Margaret, what's up with your week?
So I'm figuring things out, and I have the kids at home, and my husband's work schedule is like, his shift is 4 a.m. to noon, but he gets home anywhere between 1 p.m. and 10 p.m. and I never know when it's going to be until it happens. So it's really rough, and it's hard to like have a to-do list and be excited to get things done. And then he doesn't get home until 8 o'clock, and I'm like, well, maybe tomorrow. So that's why I'm working on just small goals. And since I did 3 new listings and 3 relistings last week, this week I'm going to try 5. So see how it goes.
Is he work weekends and stuff too?
Yeah, 7 days a week.
Yeah, all right. That sucks. And he works at not to laugh at you, but like it legitimately sucks. I can't imagine being home with that age kids, and one of them is special needs as well, and just being with them. And right now, I don't know about you, but like we don't have any sitters. Nobody wants to watch my children during COVID, right? Like,
and we can't go anywhere either. So it's like
it's hard. Yeah. And my husband works from home, so he's able to lunch to come out and join us. So kudos for you. And if you survive with a smile on your face, like that is something to be proud of. If you get some sales, like that is huge accomplishment for sure.
How much you both are going to be able to accomplish if you get through this whole, first half of the school year with your kids at home, running a business, like homeschooling. You will be able to conquer anything.
The world. Yeah. Thank you, Lori. That's what I keep telling myself. And I keep telling myself that I've done it. Like last month, July was my best gross month ever. That even if it kind of plateaus or goes down, I know that I can do it when I have the time. Like it's not my capability. These are the pep talks I'm having with myself right now. Because I'm a bit freaking out about it's not just having them at home. I I have a kindergartner and a special needs kid. Like I can't just say, go to your room and do your schoolwork. Like my kindergartner can't navigate the computer and read it well enough to know what to do. And I don't know what about my special needs kids. I don't even know how to help him because I'm not a special ed teacher. But is there any time? Because what I do, and I don't know if there's any time that you could do this, I try and get ahead on photos, because to me, Margaret, that's the hardest part to do with the kids. And then I at least have I try and get ahead on photos and drafts. So then if I have a day like when my husband, for you, your husband wasn't there or whatever it is, so you can try and get if you can crank it out. Yeah.
Basically, if he gets home and I'm awake enough, I'll go downstairs and take pictures for a few hours, like a couple times a week. And then I just make drafts and list when I can in the Starbucks drive-thru.
Yeah. Yeah. All of the places that I've listed or done followers or shares, which is the nice thing about PoshMark. Because it's on the app and you can do it anywhere. So
now you can do drafts. It's so nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
Do you so let me ask you on that, because I don't do the drafts on PoshMark. Do you guys do the drafts on PoshMark?
I would be lost without them. That's how
I know. Yeah, I know you said I tried it today, and I had a draft that I made a couple days ago, and I listed it, and then I checked, and it was the first thing ingested. So I know you were saying I think they fixed that.
Okay, because when drafts first came out, it wouldn't go to like if you drafted it a week ago, it wouldn't go to just in because it would have the date of the draft.
Really?
So mentally in my mind, I'd heard that they'd fix it, but I hadn't tried it out. So
I never noticed that. I don't know that I've ever encountered that.
Yeah. I know that but their drafts came out almost a year ago now. Not 50, but yeah, a while ago.
I used to be able to do 15. Yeah, so I typically will take my photographs, and while the photos are uploading, I do like a 30-second measurement. And then in the description, I add my measurements and take a picture of the fabric tag. And then I just save the first picture. I brighten the first photo, and then I put my measurements in, and then I do nothing else and save it as a draft. And then I go back later and I do everything on my desktop because I just fly on my desktop, and because my thumb is junk and it hurts a lot. So I just go and I type everything up later. So.
And you start on PoshMark and then Vendu to cross post to other places.
Yeah.
Can you, because List Perfectly, you can start a listing and then it's in List Perfectly and then boom, boom, boom. Like that's what I was doing, is starting in List Perfectly and then putting it.
And that's what Thomas at Vendu keeps scolding me and telling me I should just be making my drafts in Vendu and then pushing it out to all the different platforms, because then you can delist, you can relist, and it's all like, that's like your home base. But I just haven't found that rhythm yet.
Yeah, well, you've been listing on PoshMark for so long, you probably just can knock it out real quickly. Leslie is selling. If you don't follow Leslie, she is absolutely one of my favorite people in general. Reseller for sure, but favorite people. I use the draft feature to make room on my new photos. I use drafts on PoshMark and on Etsy. Dr. DI is saying, I started using drafts on PoshMark after watching Lori's videos, and it's been life-changing.
Thank you. It is so happy.
It's really helpful. And me and Margaret were chatting about this before we went on, having kids, and like my kids would only nap with me. And so having drafts on your phone, and then I would just lay there with them and PoshMark on my phone while they were, because the second I got up, they knew I wasn't there and then they'd wake up. So if I wanted them to have a long nap, I had like stuff ready on my phone. Now they don't nap. So that sucks. We are wrapping up to 7 o'clock. So I don't want to hold you guys any later because you guys are very busy and I appreciate you being here. My goals really quickly, just to help keep me a little accountable. I'm just trying to make it through. I am trying to crank out as many photos as I can so that when the kids are in school, I am like weeks ahead so that I can still continue to list. So that's my main priority right now. I've scaled back my YouTube already because I want to put more of my time into reselling to try and get ahead. And I love YouTube, but YouTube does not make the money that reselling does right now. You get, Denali always says, hundreds of pennies you make on YouTube slowly as you gain up and stuff. But so I've scaled back to only doing 2 videos, sometimes 3 on YouTube, so that I can put more money, more time into reselling to try and get ahead so I can still maintain the status quo, hopefully while I'm homeschooling kids. And then I'm still working on researching a pallet. So I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks I can pull the trigger, or decide if I want to pull the trigger. I was looking today, and then you see the prices, and you're like, I don't know. And like just going through and having it take over I should do it before winter, and my car has to be out in the snow, right? So thank you guys for joining. One last time, I'm going to let you guys do a shameless self-promotion, and everyone in the comments as well. If you're watching this on a recording, feel free to leave your stuff down below. This also will go up on my podcast. So if you would like to listen to it and you don't want to see our faces, or you just want to listen in the background while you're listing, not offended, but it will be up on the podcast this week as well, with all of my interviews that you don't need to see the screen. Some of them I share stuff that you want to look at the screen for, but so that'll be on the podcast if you want to listen there as well. So one last time, thank you guys for joining. Margaret, if you want to give a little plug for yourself as well, and then you as well, Lori.
Yeah, feel free to check out my YouTube channel. It's Dresden Avenue, and I only have a few videos right now. I'm going to be doing my what sold video hopefully tomorrow. That's like what sold for all of July. And then later in the week, I'm going to have a thrift haul because I just found this amazing new thrift store near me that I got some really good stuff at.
Fun. Yes, and I am Lori's Boston Fan on Instagram. And apparently Lori's Boston Found on YouTube. I thought it was just Lori Tata. And you can follow me on Thrifter's Villa as well, which is my podcast with Daniela. And we just did, it was released this morning, was a fall fashion trends, which was fun. It's always fun to research fall fashion and then try to pull it into our business somehow. But yeah, say hello. I would love to see you all.
Thank you guys for joining. Have a good night.
Thank you for having us, Sarah.